Well, good morning. Let's see here. Help if we had the microphone ready to go. Good morning. I am so happy to see you. It is Sunday, July 27th. Welcome back to the stream. My name is Angela. I am a front-end developer and a software engineer in St. Paul, Minnesota. And welcome. Today is a big day because we are finishing this project that we've been working on for the entire month of July called Hilltop. And today is, I would say today is going to be a very heavy JavaScript day. And most of the JavaScript that I write is for DOM manipulation and functionality because I am a very UI focused front end developer. I also don't write JavaScript as well as I write HTML and CSS. So, and in addition to that, we're not reinventing any wheels here today, right? We're working on navigation and sliders and search drawers. And so much of what I do or what we're going to do today, I've already done on past projects, and I have no interest in sort of reinventing those functions. So I've pulled up a couple of past projects where I know I have JavaScript that I want to use today, but we're also definitely going to be leveraging ChatGPT. I use ChatGPT the most for two things. It's to confirm that I'm doing things correctly for accessibility, and it's for help with JavaScript. So you're going to see, we're going to be doing that together today. You're going to see how I use ChatGPT to help me with those two things. And Rahul is here. Welcome. Good evening. I know that it's evening in Nepal. I'm so happy to have you. And Go Elmo Go is here. Happy to see you as well. Go Elmo Go is a mod for the chat. So say thank you to Go Elmo Go for helping support us, keeping everybody healthy, safe, in a safe, friendly place. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting started today. I think I want to just tell you about this conversation. I've been having a little conversation this morning with ChatGPT about the navigation. Because when we set up the navigation, make this a little bigger. When we set up our navigation, I created two buttons. I created one button to open the menu, and I created a second button to close the menu. And this is different than my normal approach. My normal approach is one button that I toggle. However, that one button lives outside the drawer. And I feel like the last time I built navigation this way, I feel like I ran into a situation where I felt like I should be doing this with two buttons, not one button. So that was the approach that I took this time. And part of that was based on this conversation that I had this morning with ChatGPT. So let me just tell you the question that I asked, which is if I have two buttons, one to open a mobile menu and one to close a mobile menu, do I need ARIA labels that say when the menu is open or closed? Because the last time I built this type of navigation for my personal website, I had to use JavaScript to toggle an ARIA label that said, hang on, I can tell you. I had to toggle an attribute ARIA expanded true or false because I had one button. Okay, so you don't need to have ARIA labels that say whether the menu is open or closed, but you do need to make the state of the menu accessible. There are two good ways to do this. Recommended approach, use ARIA expanded on the toggle button and update it dynamically. So this is showing a one button solution. And then it's got a little JavaScript here. This lets screen readers know whether the element it controls is currently expanded. What about separate open close buttons. If you truly have separate buttons, not one toggle, you don't need to say menu is open or menu is closed in the label, but the context should still be clear. Option 1, visually hide one button when not in use, preferred for clarity. So think display none or visibility hidden or opacity 0, something like that. Option 1, visually hide one button when not in use. And it is saying here, it's also, we're going to get to ARIA controls, and it does have ARIA expanded false and then ARIA expanded true. And swap visibility in your JavaScript. Option 2, use ARIA expanded on both. Even if you keep both buttons visible, which is not recommended, they should each reflect the menu state with ARIA expanded. Okay, good to know. So use ARIA expanded to reflect the menu's open-closed state. Use ARIA controls to associate the button with the menu. You don't need to add phrases like menu is open to the ARIA label. Don't duplicate buttons unless there's a good UX reason. And then I just had a comment here about visibility, display, opacity, things like that. I think this is a little less important. So then I just thought I'm going to show ChatGPT my markup and see what he says. Thanks for sharing your markup. It's clean and solid. Since you're using two separate buttons, mobile open and mobile close, you're totally fine to stick with your current setup, but here's a quick accessibility and UX checkup. You're doing it right. Two clear buttons with appropriate ARIA label values, open menu and close menu. Semantically correct use of nav and UL. Simple div-based hamburger cross icons inside the buttons, totally fine for visual only UI. Small suggestions. Add ARIA controls to both buttons. This ties each button to the main nav and gives screen readers more context. Assistive tech can now associate the button with the menu it opens, closes. That helps if someone is navigating non-visually. Add ARIA hidden true to the decorative divs just in case a screen reader stumbles into these. I think this is interesting because I didn't think screen readers paid any attention to empty divs. So I think that's interesting that it's telling me to do that, but we'll go ahead and do that. This prevents them from being announced or interpreted as meaningful content. So no need for ARIA expanded here since your open and closed buttons are separate and mutually exclusive. Only one is visible at a time. ARIA expanded is not needed. You've already communicated state through the interface structure and labels. If you ever consolidate into a single toggle button, then ARIA expanded becomes necessary. So that means that we need to make sure that we are using CSS and display none, which is the preferred method, to when we have that active state, when we toggle the active state on the buttons, that we are using the active class to display none or display block the buttons. That's the key there, that I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to do that with JavaScript and ARIA labels. Summary, you're doing it exactly right for the setup you described. Two buttons clearly labeled, one visible at a time, controlled via CSS, no need for JavaScript modified ARIA attributes, and add ARIA controls and ARIA hidden true if you want to level it up, but accessibility wise, you're already in great shape. And this is where it told me that the preferred method should really be visibility or display none. This is elements with visibility hidden are still in the DOM flow and can still be focused by the keyboard. I'm questioning this because we did visibility hidden last weekend because I did tab through, and it was tabbing through the menu when it was off screen, and I remember putting visibility hidden, and I thought that solved that problem, but maybe I also added, I don't know, we'll have to check. That's interesting. I'm remembering it differently. So, okay, so let's get started. Let's make sure that these divs have ARIA hidden true, and these as well. And then we need an ID. I'm going to put it right here. ID equals, I'm just going to do main navigation. And then what did it say? It said ARIA controls to both buttons. All right. So now let's make sure that if this button has a class, well, let's see what they're currently styled as. Okay. So the mobile button on desktop is display none. And then we have the mobile button on mobile is display block. So I think this is correct. But I think we're going to get into some specificity issues. So since we have these, we have mobile open and mobile close. Let's do this. Mobile open, comma, mobile close. And then we can say mobile open would be display block, which means mobile close continues to be display none until the main nav is active. And we're adding an active class to the main nav. So I think we should add, when we toggle the button or when we click the button, we should be adding an active class here, and we should be adding an active class here. Should we be adding an active class to both buttons? So I think we should be adding an active class to this button, and to the main nav. Although if it's on the main nav, it could just be a child selector, right? So I think we only need to do it here. But then if we do it here, it could be a sibling selector, child selector. But I already styled it here. I think this is right here. This is literally the only place I have the word active. Oh, except for the search drawer. And we have some pseudo classes. But for the nav, this is the only place. So it would be so if we only toggle active on the button, we could trigger all the rest of this stuff. So we could do mobile open. Whoops. Do mobile open active main nav. We don't even need main nav. Mobile open active main nav. I think that's all we need, right? So if we add active here, let's see here. It didn't work. Mobile open active. Oh, it's a sibling, not a child. That's why. Yes. Look at that. Look at that. Let's go here. That works. So we only need to toggle active on this button. That keeps our JavaScript really tidy. And it's fewer places that we have to toggle things. So if we take that out, yeah, that works. That keeps it so much tidier. And then all of these ARIA controls, ARIA labels, we don't have to indicate what's open, what's closed. And then in our CSS, I like this. I like this a lot. This is so clean. This is so clean. Okay, and then the other thing we need to do is we need to make sure that mobile. Then once we do this, okay, so this is triggers main nav. Mobile open display block. Mobile open active oh, but how can you, what shall I think about this? But you have to click on the close button to trigger the toggle on the open button. So maybe we do need to add active to both buttons. So if I click this button, I have to remove the active class from this button. And honestly, we're probably just better off doing a for each for mobile button and toggling active or not active. And then using mobile open active, mobile close active. Yeah, I think that. Let's do that first. Let's not go any further with the CSS until we actually have those active, till we actually can add and remove active classes. And then we'll sort out the CSS. Yeah. Okay. Script.js. There we go. And then we'll do document, add event listener, DOM content loaded. So we'll do a function toggle menu button and const buttons document query selector all, and we want both mobile buttons. And we're gonna have to for each through those buttons. And then we're gonna have to button, add event listener, click, oh, do we have to, wait. Here, I'm thinking. Yeah, just button, classless, add active. Bear with me, people. Button, class list, add active. And then we just want to add it to both buttons, and then regardless of which button we want to, probably we want to just do toggle, right? Regardless of which one we click on. Nope, what am I doing wrong? Oh, gosh darn it. There we go. Active. but it's it just does it on for each button. It's only doing it on the button that I clicked. Buttons for each. Do I need to do this the other way around? Do I need to add the event listener and then for each? I want to add the active class to both buttons. Do I have this backwards? You're close, but yeah, it's a little backwards. If your goal is to toggle the active class when inactive, remove it when active. Right now you're only calling active, which means the class gets added on click, but it never, oh, I'm not clicking on the other button. Yeah, I need it on both buttons. On both buttons at once. Okay. Oh yeah, I missed a for each. I was so close. There we go. Perfect. Okay, now let's make sure, because this is still display none. So now that we have our active class, perfect. That's perfect. So now we just need to sort out our CSS. Excellent. I was so close. Okay, so now let's sort out our CSS, and I think it actually helps us that we have two active classes, right? So mobile, let me see here. So mobile open, mobile close, both display none on desktop. Mobile open, I have to think about this now. So mobile open active is display mobile open is display blocked at this media query. Mobile open active is display none. Mobile close at this media query is display none. Will it continue? No, yeah, it's still display none. It's not display block until it's active. Then it's display. Then it's display block. So buttons are not displayed on desktop. Open button is displayed on mobile. When open button is active, menu is active, button is not displayed. When menu is active, close button is displayed. We did it. I will say that we don't get the transition when we are closing the menu. So where's our transition here? And also, now let's test our accessibility. So let's tab through. So our accessibility is working. We have to do our JavaScript next for the search drawer, but this works. And then because the navigation comes immediately after that button, now we can tab through all the way through. And I'm not going to trap the focus. That is not an accessibility requirement because you can still see what's happening when the menu is open. You can still see the rest of the page. But what we do need to do is add a couple lines of JavaScript to hit the escape key and close that. So that's what we're going to do next. But this is working. This is working. So we're transitioning this. This is what we're transitioning. Do we need to also transition? Do we need to add transition here twice? Okay, let's ask our friend for help. This works. My CSS transition only works when I open the menu. This only matches when mobile is immediately followed by, but in your markup, main nav is mobile open active plus main nav. But in your markup, main nav is not a sibling. Oh, yeah. It comes after it, yes, but it's not a direct. Got it. Add a wrapper and style based on a parent class. Hard pass. Target main nav directly with active. If you're toggling active on both buttons, you could also just toggle it directly on the nav. All right. But okay, hang on. I'm animating the transition right, not visibility. I think that, okay, I see what it's saying. Okay, got it. The sibling relationship is broken, or at least the selector stops applying. Got it. So yeah, we do need to add active to, we do need to add active to the menu then. That makes sense. That makes sense. And then we can animate the transition a lot more cleanly. Hang on though. Oh, I didn't define it, did I? Yeah, and I need gentle but firm. That's what I need. Gentle but firm. Just walk me through it. I'm here to learn. I'm here to learn and I'm here to get better, right? There we go. So this is an example of how long I've been using one button to toggle navigation. This is the first time I've used two buttons to toggle navigation. And you can see here by display nunning this button, we're getting a jump there. So we are going to do, there was another suggestion here to hide that. So instead of display none, we're going to do visibility hidden and pointer events none is what it said to do. Otherwise it messes up my header. There, so we don't get that jump now. And we can just go back to this main nav active. Hello. You're still not animating. Why? Oh, do I still need to have this here? Okay. Okay, this is updated, but it's still not animating right. When I close. Got it. Opacity and pointer events if needed. Yeah, honestly, I don't know why I didn't think of this sooner, because I feel like I discovered pointer events a couple weekends ago when we were working with the borders and pseudo elements. So that makes perfect sense to me. And the reason I'm doing visibility hidden is because I don't want a screen reader to enter into that navigation unless the button has activated it. So yeah, that makes sense to me. Okay. Nope, I actually do not like opacity. I do not like the fade. Nice. Okay, so now let's add a way to escape. So when this is open, we can hit the escape key. Look at us. Um, um, which button? Mobile close. Mobile close. document query selector. So if mobile close is what we're checking. So escape key and button, what is it? Class list class list contains active, which would be true or false. So if it contains active, so if it's active, then we want to toggle the menu button. And then I think we need to document add event listener key down. Escape key. I think this is right. We'll find out. Well, we don't have any errors, so that's good. So if I hit escape, nothing happens. Okay, let's figure this out here. And we actually kind of broke something. So maybe, let's see here. Okay. Okay. I need help with the escape key now. This isn't working. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Oh, and then we run close menu. Okay, so we need separate variables for open and close. Can do that. Whoop. And then instead of one function that toggles, no, we do have one function that toggles. But instead of looping through, it wants us to just check each button. That makes sense because we gave those separate classes, so I guess that makes sense. So we have something specifically to toggle, and we have something specifically to close, and then we run close on the key down event listener. We don't need this. We'll do open button, class list, toggle, active. Class list, toggle, active. And then we want function remove active. So that would be menu, class list, remove, active, open, whoops, class list, remove, close button, class list, remove. And then we're going to do open button, close button, add event listener, toggle. Open button, add event listener. Yeah, click. Close button, add event listener, click. And then remove active. That's what we want to do here, right? And then menu class list contains active is what we're checking. What do we think? Oh. There we go. Now that works. We get there eventually, right? Wow, it's a quiet group today. It's a quiet Sunday. Welcome to everybody who's here. If you've liked the video and subscribed to the channel, thank you so much. I appreciate that. We practice vanilla HTML and CSS here. We love the basics. Whoops. Okay. So on page load, everything's active. Did I do that? Yeah, I don't, yeah, I don't think we need this. Wait a second. Angela, think. You can do it. I am sipping on coffee today. Good old coffee. I'm not sure where you're located. If you want to tell me where you're located, if you're comfortable doing so, I would love to know. I know Rahul is in Nepal. It's morning here. Well, it's about 11:30. So I am still drinking coffee. I'm usually drinking coffee until around noon most days. So, oh, yeah, I don't think we need this right here on page load, right? Because we're triggering toggle menu button as a click event. We don't need to load it on page. We don't need to do it on page load. Yeah. And now we can escape. Love it. Not bad for an hour's work on a sunny Sunday morning, right? So now let's tab through. And so even if you're outside of the menu, hitting escape still closes the menu. And that's all we need for accessibility. That is all we need for accessibility. So I'm very happy with this. Yeah, I'm definitely going to tuck this away. I like having two buttons, not one button. I feel like sometimes you may make the argument that I overthink things. I do, because I do. But I feel like the last time I did mobile navigation, listen, every time I do mobile navigation, I'm just like, am I doing this right? I've been doing it for a long time, but the last couple of years, I've been a lot more accessibility focused. So it's not just about opening and closing a menu. It's about making sure that the keyboard focus is in the correct spot. So if I'm tabbing through, oh, and it just tabbed into the menu. Hang on. Do we see what just... I just tabbed into the menu. So this did not optional prevent tabbing or interactions when off screen. That didn't stop it from tabbing into the menu. Yeah. So, but it said the visibility hidden didn't stop that either. But clearly it does. So how does that impact the animation? Okay, well, we have to visibility hidden. visibility visible. And so we lose our animation because you can't transition visibility. I understand that. But pointer events does not prevent tabbing. Okay. This is all working. But pointer events none does not prevent tabbing. Visibility hidden does prevent tabbing. Yeah, I know I'm right. Okay. Go, Elmo, go is in Florida. Burning hot here lately. Yeah, you're an hour ahead of me, I think. Yeah, it's pretty warm in Minnesota. It's I mean, I got a notice on my phone yesterday that there was like a heat warning. It's warm, it's toasty. It's not, I don't think it's the warmest it's ever been here. Mostly it's humid here. Yeah, mostly it's humid here. So here's the full truth. Pointer events none prevents mouse interaction but does not prevent keyboard focus tabbing. Okay, well, what did it literally say here? Prevent tabbing interactions when off screen. See, if anybody is worried about AI taking over for developers, you don't have anything to worry about. ChatGPT gets stuff wrong all the time. Okay, so visibility, hidden, and display none do remove elements from the accessibility tree and tab order, which is why tabbing skips them. So what you can do if you want smooth transitions like sliding or fading, and also prevent tabbing when the menu is hidden. Solution, use inert. The inert attribute, now widely supported, tells the browser to ignore this element and its children. Don't let users interact or tab to it. How to use inert with your menu. Menu remove attribute inert. Now your transitions will still work and the menu will be fully excluded from tab order and screen readers while closed. So pointer events none blocks clicks only, which it's hidden. So how would it be clicked? It's hidden. I don't need to block clicks. It doesn't exist on the page. Visibility hidden display none blocks both clicks and tab focus but kill transitions. I don't know. What do we think about this? Inert. Baseline 2023 newly available. Let's see what this says. Since April 23, this feature works across the latest devices and browser versions. This feature might not work in older devices or browsers. The inert global attribute is a Boolean attribute indicating that the element and all of its flat tree descendants become inert. Modal dialogues generated with show modal escape inertness, meaning they don't inherit inertness from their ancestors, but can only be made inert by having the inert attribute explicitly set on themselves. Specifically, inert does the following. Prevents the click event from being fired when the user clicks on the element, prevents the focus event from being raised by preventing the element from gaining focus, prevents any contents of the element from being found or matched during any use of the browser's Find in Page feature, prevents users from selecting text within the element akin to using the CSS property user select to disable text selection, prevents, oh, wait a second, user select. Prevents the focus event from being raised by preventing the element from gaining focus. Prevents users from selecting text within the element akin to using the CSS property user select to disable text selection. Prevents users from editing any contents of the element. Okay. What's this? Oh, limited availability. The user select CSS property controls whether the user can select text. And it's limited availability, so I don't want to go down that road. Accessibility concerns. Use careful consideration for accessibility when applying the inert attribute. By default, there is no visual way to tell whether or not an element or its subtree is inert. As a web developer, it is your responsibility to clearly indicate the content parts that are active and those that are inert, while providing visual and non-visual cues about content. Okay, so I've just decided that I don't care enough about this transition to do this. Because I just prefer simplicity. I prefer simplicity. So we're going to go ahead and use visibility hidden. We're not going to worry about pointer events because visibility does everything that I want it to. Triggers the main nav, but animation only works when opening. So I'll just leave a little note here. And if somebody, this is going to be an open source project, and if somebody wants to take this and fork it, they're more than welcome to. They are more than welcome to. This is already a bit more complex than I'm used to, but that's because I'm using 2 buttons when I normally only use 1. But I do think it's better to have a separate button when the navigation is open. And we're accessible with our ARIA labels. We are correctly using buttons and nav elements. And we have ARIA controls, so we know what these buttons trigger. So this is all accessible. And I do think that this is an acceptable amount of JavaScript, and we've also implemented hitting the escape key to close that menu. And we are foregoing focus trapping. It's just not necessary. So we are done with the navigation. We are done with the navigation. This is a 1-page, let's go back to desktop now. This is a 1-page landing page, but we built out a complete set of navigation. I'm not building additional pages. And I originally was thinking that I would make this navigation so you could scroll to different sections on the page. And I changed my mind pretty quickly that I didn't want to do that. But what I do want to do is implement You Are Here navigation. And so let's go ahead and do that. So let's say that home is the root URL. First of all, let's make sure that we have styles, and we do have styles. So let's just add an active class to the home, and then we can come right in here to our CSS. And we have, oh, you know what though? I think we're just using default styles. I think we're just using default styles. This is the 3-card link. This is the button. This is the social item. So I think that we can just do except instead of a pseudo class, it's just the active class. Maybe we do want to do a separate set. Yeah, let's do, yeah, because it's on the nav item, not on the link. Let's see here. You are here. Link nav item. Yeah, that's fine. So let's just do nav item active. And so really I just want to make sure it has this border. So let's go down here. Right here. So we'll do, we'll just do nav item. That's as specific as we need to be. Active. And it's the anchor element, border bottom. That might not be specific enough. Let's see. This is pretty specific. There we go. And then let's take this active off the nav, and we can go ahead and just put links in here, even though these pages don't exist. If you were to build out this site, we would have You Are Here navigation. Contact. And we'll test this really quick. We'll just create an extra page in order to test this. So we'll just do a function. You are here. And we'll get our links array. Query selector all. And these are the nav items, right? Nav item. Yeah, nav item. Whoops. Nav item. And then we'll get the href of the page, which is window.location.href. Oops. And then we'll just say links for each link. If the link href is equal to the href link class list add active. And then we don't need an event listener for this because it's just going to happen on page load. We just have to check the URL when the page loads. So that is a simple way to do "you are here" navigation. Let's see here. Oh, and this says index.html. That might be why it's not working. See, I hate doing href because see, I like to just get the path name. See, I think the path name is better. Oh, but nav item is the list item. Hang on. Query selector all. We want the nav item. We want the nav item anchor, right? Oh no, we do just, I think I just forgot to put the dot in front of the nav item. It's still not adding the So do we need index.html here? Boy, I feel like I'm really struggling today. So that matches. those match the href. Oh, it's no, Angela, you're still only getting the list item. You need to also get the anchor element. That's why they don't match. Link. Oh my gosh. It's still not adding it though. Oh yeah, it is. It's just adding it to the anchor. Okay. Got it. So it's nav item. Good grief. That was supposed to be the easiest one. My God, we still have a slider to build. Okay. You know what though? Not every day is like not every day is like yesterday was, right? Not every day is like yesterday was. Yesterday was amazing. But yesterday was all CSS, which I can pretty much write CSS in my sleep at this point. I clearly cannot write JavaScript in my sleep. I don't know what it is about JavaScript that is just so much harder for me to wrap my head around. ChatGPT has been an absolute game changer for me. I mean, I could still build apps. I did build apps prior to ChatGPT. It took me a lot longer. Once I had better help, as in I didn't have to rely on Stack Overflow anymore, I could do things so much faster, but logically, things just don't make as much sense to me in JavaScript as CSS does. So it is what it is. We just keep plugging away, right? We don't have that much more to do, though. We don't have that much more to do. So our navigation is working. We have you are here navigation. I think you get the gist of it. I'm not going to test it. If somebody forks this and builds additional pages, that function exists. So I'm just going to leave that for now, but we do need to add and remove an active class to our search icon. So that's the next thing that we need to do. And I don't know, it kind of feels like we have enough things here to do that, right? Like we're basically doing the exact same thing that we did with our navigation. So let's just look at our markup, because I feel like we could just define a few extra buttons here. So here's the header right. Here's our open search. Here's our search drawer. And then here is our close search. So let's make sure that we have the controls, our controls in. So here's this search drawer. So we're going to give this an ID. And we'll say, I'm just going to say search drawer. ARIA controls. Oops. And one moment. All right, here we go. And we're using SVGs, we're not using divs, and these are already ARIA hidden true. So we have search open and search close. And then we have search form. So how much you want to bet we can just add it to this toggle, to what we already have. So we'll say search, I'm going to say search open. Search open, search close, and search form. And let's just update this. Search form. And I bet we can just do the exact same thing. So technically it's not toggle menu button, it's just toggle button. Let's just do, we'll rename it toggle active so we can keep it nice and semantic. So we have toggle active and we have remove active. That makes a little more sense to me. So this is open and close the mobile navigation. Open and close the search drawer. And then we probably want to be able to escape to close search also. So we would want to do menu or search. So if the escape key and menu or search form contains active, and they can't both be open at the same time because the buttons don't all appear at the same time. Okay, so I think we have to, I bet we have our CSS is not right. Oh, and it's triggering all the navigation stuff too. Okay. We're so close. Yeah, toggle active is also toggling all of this. That's cool. We can just do a separate one, right? Whoops. Function toggle search. Okay, so we are going to want to have unique functions. So for this, well, we're going to rename this yet again to toggle menu. Toggle menu, toggle search. I think remove can stay the same. And then this would be toggle search. Am I actually getting this right? It feels right. So yes, now we just need to make sure, look at that. I did it all by myself. Okay, so now we just need to make sure that we have the correct active classes to trigger the drawer. So let's take a look at our CSS. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. Okay, where are we here with our search? Right here. It's not a drawer, it's a form. That's why. Oh, wouldn't it be cool if this was the only reason why this didn't work? Although, hang on, let's double check. It is a search drawer. Oh, because we're adding active not to the search drawer, we're adding it to the form. We're adding it here. So let's change it. We just need to change this right here. We don't need to change. Yeah, so this is okay. We just need to change this. We do need to change this to drawer. Search drawer. Oh, I don't think I changed these. Look at that. Look at that. I did it by myself. I'm so excited. Honestly, this is why I love front-end development. Even though I still there's stuff I definitely still struggle with, it is so satisfying. So satisfying. Buttons and menu. Search buttons and search drawer. So I'm not going to implement, oh, we just have to make sure also that the correct button is shown and the correct button is hidden based on what's open. So we're going to have to do a little bit of what we did for the navigation as well. Which is completely fine because our search drawer and buttons are structured exactly the same way as the navigation drawer, I guess, and buttons. Exactly the same way. So what we did there will work the same. The difference is we're not relying on media queries. So, and we already have here our buttons. So this is all positioning. So this is right here. So search close and search open. So visibility hidden means that it's not, but do we need to? Because let's tab through. So we're tabbing through. We can trigger. I don't think we need to display none, the button inside the search drawer if we are tabbing past the search drawer, although we would want to display none this button, because I'm not going to do any focus trapping. I'm just going to, we're just going to make it so if you hit escape, it closes, which it does. But if you are inside, if you are inside and you tab outside, I definitely don't want you to come back up to the active button. I would want you to come back all the way through, and I want you to hit escape is what I want you to do. So we're just going to, so when search open is active, it's display none. So search open is display So let's do that here. So search open. It's already display block, so I think we can just say search open active. Well, and not display none, visibility hidden, because we don't want it to change our header. Visibility hidden. So we're just going to tab all the way through the page to make sure that works. All right. Except I can't actually see what's happening. Okay. So we're going to have to cheat a little bit with opacity because I can't see anything. So, well, let's just change the opacity to like 0.25 so I can at least see what's happening. Oh, Rahul, yes, you did miss all the fun. You're missing all the fun of me stumbling through this JavaScript, but honestly, we're doing just fine. We've got the navigation done. We have You Are Here navigation finished. We're wrapping up the search drawer. The last two things that we need to do are going to be the sliders. And it takes as long as it takes and then we'll do a really good QA. We're going to do a really thorough QA and then we're done. We're done. So, okay, so here it's triggered, but we can still see what's going on behind the scenes. And you can see that the button is not here. The button is not here. So first of all, I'm just going to trigger all the way through. Just to, which we should be doing anyways, just to see where the keyboard focus is going. Okay, and then, so let's close this. Make this a little bigger. So now we're going to tab all the way through. Every button gets focus, the inputs get focus. And then it's going to come right back around. There we go. So now we're going to trigger the form. Great. And then that hides the search button. And if somebody wants to escape, they can escape and our search button comes back. So now let's trigger the form again. And we go into the form. But if you come back out, it skips past that button. So it picks up right where it left off. And it does continue to go through the page, even if the form's open. But if somebody needs to close the form, that's interesting. So if the focus was on one of the iframe buttons, I couldn't escape. But as soon as I got out of the iframe, I could escape. I still think that this is okay. Focus trapping is not a requirement for accessibility. Being able to escape out of something is a requirement. So I'm going to say that this is okay. And at the risk of creating a whole bunch more work for myself, let's just ask the expert. Okay, this is all working. One more question about my search drawer. I've implemented a similar click event and it works perfectly. So if the search drawer covers the entire page, is focus trapping a requirement? Hitting escape closes the drawer, and when the drawer is open, only the close button is available. I'm hiding the open button. If the drawer covers the whole page and the open button is hidden once it's opened, the close button is visible, hitting escape closes it, no other interactive elements are exposed. Yes! Then you don't need to focus trap. Focus trapping is only necessary when multiple interactive elements are visible, the user might tab outside the modal drawer, the background is still technically in view and focusable. But if you're doing something like body overflow hidden and your drawer is full screen with everything else visually and functionally hidden, you're golden. Just a small bonus tip. Make sure you send focus to the close button when the drawer opens. Make sure you send focus to the close button when the drawer opens. That's a small accessibility boost. It prevents screen reader users or keyboard users from getting lost with no visual focus when the drawer opens. Okay, so that would actually be the search. We would want to send the search close. So that would be this. Oh wait, wrong one. Okay, if you may call this function to close the drawer too, you probably don't want to call search close focus when hiding it. So you can make it safer with a check. Okay. Keeps the open close state toggled cleanly, sends focus to the close button when opening, great for accessibility, avoids sending focus to a hidden element on close. Yeah, I don't, I have to tab. Oh, it had focus, but it didn't have the focusable outline. Oh, there it did. Did I just not refresh the page? Okay, so now it has it. All right, nice. So we got that part right. Nice. So you are here navigation, toggle mobile menu, toggle search, plus everything is accessible. That's why this takes a little bit longer. That's why there is just a little bit extra complexity here. It's a lot of it has to do with the accessibility considerations, but I'm feeling very, very good about this. Very good about this. Okay, we're finally ready to do our slider. Now we did a slider on our last project, and I am going to reference that. All right. I just want to make sure that I'm pretty sure my markup matches. So we've got, so here's our slider. The parent container is slider. And then we have our slider items, and we need, let's put some more items in here. And we'll add a couple different images. And I don't think we have this styled yet, so we'll have to add a couple of styles. But yeah, this is it. So these are stacked now. That's okay. Let's we can grab our, let me just check my styles here to see how I did this. Yeah, and let's see here. So Rahul is asking, I noticed there are many classless toggle calls in the JavaScript. Why not just toggle a class on the body and control pop-ups from there? Just a thought. Hope that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, that is a really good point. So my first thought is that if I would have to toggle, I would have to do, I couldn't use active. I would have to use like menu or search to differentiate between the two. So I would still have to, I could cut down on the number of things that I'm adding active to, and I could just toggle on the body. If somebody clicks menu, then it would be like menu active. And if somebody clicks search, then it would be search active. And I could use all of that on the body. So if we had bot, yeah. Yeah, I think that you could absolutely do it that way. I think you could absolutely do it that way. I'm not immediately thinking of a reason why you couldn't. So I think this is just one approach. I tried to just have one. So my original approach was to just have one active class on the top level button. And the reason that didn't work is because that button is then display none or visibility hidden when the drawer is open. So that didn't work for me. And that's why I ended up putting the active class on both the drawer and the inner button. So it went from 1 to 3 because of that one consideration. But yeah, you're right. You could do it on the body, and that would also work because that's high enough up that that would handle all of the specificity. So good point. I can't see a reason why you couldn't do it. So I will say I like I do enjoy the granularity of having that active class in several different places. But I think so. Let's tuck that thought away for the next project that we do, because there are more landing pages in our future. And on the next landing page we do, let's put it on the body and style it that way. So, because that's what we're here to do, is we're here to practice and we're here to learn. So, Rahul, tuck that one away and remind me on the next landing page. Angela, put it on the body, and I will do it. I will do it. Okay, slider. So here's our slider content, position absolute. And let's see here. How did I? And it's, let's see here. Oh, this is the content. We want the item. So this is the UL. The item is the LI. So we want the item So we want this to be position relative. And then we need this, the slider item, which is the LI. This is going to be position absolute inset 0. This is going to be opacity 0. It's going to be pointer events none. And we also have a transition. Oh, this is also going to be opacity 0. And then we have our transition here. And we are transitioning the opacity. And then we're going to do an active slide. So we have slider item, and we're going to have to make sure that these classes match up for our testimonial slider as well, because what I don't want to do is write 2 sets of JavaScript. I want to have a set of classes that match. So then we would have pointer events auto, opacity 1, and yeah, we'll need a z index of 1, which means this will probably be a I don't know if we're going to need z index here. I'm going to put z index 0 just to be sure. So I think this is the CSS that we need. Okay. So we don't have an active class yet on anything. So if we put an active class here, then we should see our first, nope, slider item active, slider item. Oh, we probably also need width 100%. Height 100%. I think we need we also need our aspect ratio. Do we? No, not on the slider. I'm just checking my markup. Okay. So slider list is the UL, slider item is the LI. So slider list, the UL needs an aspect ratio. So I had the aspect ratio down here. You know, I kind of remember doing this and then taking it off and thinking, yeah, because while this is my classic aspect ratio width and height, so I think slider item, slider item, active. We're close. We're getting there. We just have to nail down our CSS. Here's our image. Oh. So we don't need opacity on the UL. My mistake. There we go. So now we should be able to move this around. Look at that. Nice. And we might need to choose better images, but that's not really the point right now. Okay, good. We have our CSS in place now for our slider. So now we just need to add the JavaScript. This would be I think a vanilla JavaScript slider would be a great tutorial. So I think I'm going to work on that. Okay. Let me make sure that the rest of my markup matches here. All right, we're going to copy and paste this. And we'll just walk through it. Oh, come on. A couple things are different here. And I'm going to put this right here. But a couple things are different. So this does not apply because in our last slider we were counting and displaying the count. So slider and slider item are correct. The buttons have different names though, so it's slider next and slider previous. So we'll update these. Slider next and slider previous. That is my dog Heidi. She heard something outside and she is telling it who's boss. So, and this was setting some ARIA labels and attributes for us, so that's good. We want that. I don't think I need this because we're not doing this count. I'm not doing the current span anymore. Yep, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing this either. I don't think I need this. I don't know. Do we think this is actually going to work? No. We can do it. So we've got the slider item. Let's make sure that we've defined that correctly. Yes. And yes. We've got slider next. Slider previous. So if slider and if slider item's length, let's just console log the length. So zero. I mean, did I spell it wrong? No. Whoops. Slider item. Oh my gosh, underscore Angela. Underscore. Okay. Okay, we're getting closer. Do I still have my active class in here? I don't think so. Let me take this out. So we're still active. So it's giving the first thing active, but we're just not able to advance. So that's working. Let's see here. I'm guessing that I got something else wrong here with, let's see here. I bet you I wasn't supposed to delete those. Yeah, hang on. Because we do still need to count. My bad. There we go. We can't go backwards though. We need to be able to go, we should be able to go backwards. We should be able to go backwards. Oh yeah. No, we don't need that. So show previous is not working. And we do have our ARIA label that shows the count, so that's good. So we've got total slides is the length. The current index is the current index -1 plus the total slides. Let's see if our arrow keys work. They don't. Okay. How much you want to bet it's previous, not prev. Prev. Yep. There we go. When in doubt, check to see if you spelled it right. So now let's see if we can key down. So we're not able to arrow right or arrow left. So we're very close. We're so close. We should be able to use our right and left arrows to go through the slider. Although, there's more than one slider on the page. So do we need to be able to go through the sliders with our left and right arrows? Oh, actually, we have to focus on them first. They have to be focusable first. Then you can left and right arrow. Let's I think the entire slider has to be focusable. I think if as long as you are focused on any part of the slider, then you can, so even if the focus is anywhere inside the slider, then the left and right arrows work. Otherwise, if you were on the page and you were using your arrows, you would be advancing through every slider on the page. So now my next question is, oh, in one moment here. Okay, so now let's make sure that our testimonial slider also works. And if what makes it work is a click event or focusable within that container, then we should be able to add slider classes to the testimonial to make it a slider. And I did do that here, so I added slider here. And then we've got slider next, slider previous, so we're good there. And then for the LI, we have testimonial, and we need slider item. And then we need to add additional items here. And so we'll just change the name. We'll say Heidi Holden. That's my dog. And then we'll say Ryan Holden. That's my previous dog. And I think this will take care of our styling too. So close. Let's see here. I'm sure we're just literally missing like one or two things. No big deal. Oh, because it's not active. There's nothing active. That's why. Shouldn't it be automatically giving the first item, making the first item active? Because we're literally just defining the slider item, and the buttons. So it should be giving it should be doing the update to add active to the first thing. Slider item. Oh, but there's more than one slider on the page. So you have to for each through each of the sliders. Okay, so we can just define a separate set of things, or we can for each through. Let's ask ChatGPT what the best solution is here. Okay, next thing. I have two sliders, a hero slider and a testimonial slider. Testimonial slider. What's the best way to get them both working? Only the first one works, so we probably need to for each the slider. Question mark. Yep, right now your script is only wired up to a single slider and its associated controls, so only the first one works. To get both sliders working independently, you need to loop through all instances of slider and bind everything per instance. Here's how to make each slider self-contained and functional. I like this better because then it's like a little slider app where you can just add the correct classes to the things that you want to be a slider. So I think this is better. So I think it's just for eaching through the entire thing. Make sure each slider in your HTML has its own slider next and previous buttons inside that slider container, which it does. So oh, I see what I did wrong. There we go. Oh, we're still not getting the first item. and it's counting the entire thing. So there must have been more to this that I missed. Yep, there was something else there that I missed. Okay, so this is definitely working. This needs and it's counting, it's doing its own count, so that's good. So let's come back here and look at this. So here's the items, here's the buttons. It's checking the length. It's doing the update. All right. We definitely need to style this. I bet it's also getting it's getting some extra styles here someplace. Why is that so big? Oh, because of the height. It's position absolute, so it needs to be height 100%. So I think we just need to, this is the slider control. There's something else here forcing this open. Where are you? Well, it's position absolute. Well, the LIs are position absolute. Yeah, it's different when it's content. It's different when it's content. It's a lot less flexible. You kind of want the slider to be yeah, it's got this aspect ratio here. How do we make that more flexible? We want to layer these list items. Which is completely fine, but you have to kind of have to define the height of this container, otherwise it'll collapse. Because there's nothing to hold it open. So maybe we just need to adjust the aspect ratio. So this is 4:1, so maybe like well, right now it's 4:1.5. So maybe we could just do 4:1, and then we can just position maybe we can just, let's change the aspect ratio just for this. So this will be the testimonial slider section UL. We can do that. So we'll go ahead and add an aspect ratio here. And we'll do 4 to 1. And then I bet if we just take out the padding on the bottom here, we can even this up a little bit. Yeah. That feels a little janky. So I'm going to need to, I'm going to need to come up with a better solution for how you deal with those the actual slides. Because being position absolute, it works great for a photo slider because you control the container, you control the size of the container with aspect ratio. But anytime you absolutely position something that has content, you don't let the content determine the size of the, you don't let the content determine the size of the container. That's a problem when you have a testimonial slider. I think this is fine. I think this is okay. You just have to be mindful of how much content you're putting in here because the size of the container is not going to grow or shrink with the amount of content. That's not ideal. And I'm not really thinking right off the top of my head of what a solution for that is, although I'm sure if I just, had more time to think about it, I could come up with one. Because we've all seen testimonial sliders that get bigger and smaller based on the amount of content. So it probably just needs like an extra wrapper or an extra container or something like that to solve that problem. For now, we're leaving this as is because the whole point of this is to practice. That's what I'm doing. I'm practicing. I'm getting better. I'm building stuff that I haven't built sliders by hand before. You want to know why? Because I've always gone out and I've just downloaded like a framework or a library or, like what's the thing I used to use back in the day? A responsive slider. I would just go grab something online and use that. And I want to learn how to build these things myself, understand what these problems are. And there's nothing wrong with going out and using those solutions. Nothing at all. I just want to start understanding what those solutions are for myself and understanding how to solve those problems. That's the whole point of this. So this works. And now this is focused, so we should be able to go through and we can tab. And as long as any part of the slider has focus, the buttons, we can also use our arrow keys on the keyboard. Okay, so both sliders work. Now, really the last thing we need to do here is we need to finish styling the slider for mobile. I declined to finish doing that until I actually had the slider working. And I think all we need to do is add an extra container. So I think we're done with our JavaScript. And by the way, if you're actually still here, if you're hanging on, and there are a few of you here who are, thank you so much. I appreciate you. We're learning together. We're learning together. What is on our QA list here? Need to escape to close menu. Done. Need to escape to close search drawer. Done. Yes, I do want to do hover active focus for the brand icon. So we'll do that. We'll do that too. We're going to keep going. We're so close. We're almost done. So I think I need, for mobile, this is position relative, this is position static, also position relative. So this now I think that we have some mobiles. Since we added this back in, it's not accounting for our mobile styles. That's what's going on. Because our mobile figure is 16:9, and we added this margin on top. So I think we need to do the same thing here. So we're going to add 3 rems of margin on top. That pushes that down. And then we're going to change this to 16:9. Oh, maybe we don't need the margin on top here. We just needed to change the aspect ratio, 16:9. No, we do need to. There's the image. Oh, we maybe don't need the margin here after all. And maybe we only need margin on the UL, not on. There we go. So we just have to change where we're putting the margin on mobile and change the aspect ratio on mobile. Got it. Yeah, so we just need to change right here. So this is not going to change. We don't need that anymore. And we just need to change this slider UL. Well, we really need both, don't we? We'll copy this. All right. First problem solved. So now to get these controls into the correct place, I suppose if we... So we know the aspect ratio. I'm trying to think of a... I think the problem is that we have inset. So if we take inset off, this goes back up to the top. That's great. I want this in the middle of the image, but it's absolutely positioned against the entire section. So I guess if can we do some math with that aspect ratio? I don't know. It's not an actual value is the problem. So how do you transition without an actual value? Let's ask. Is it possible to use transition with an aspect ratio instead of a value? Instead of a value. So instead of translate, it would be y. 50%, I could get the, oh well, but it's the value of the sibling container, which I wouldn't have access to anyways. So, okay, this is a dumb question. This isn't a good question. I mean, maybe I'm overthinking this and I should just do top 30%. Nope. If we just do top 20%, how well does that hold up? Not very well. Because it's 20% from the top of the container. So if I put a container around the slider controls and the UL, and then absolutely position it against that, I think that's a better way to go. And hopefully I don't screw anything up. Yeah, it should be okay because the slider content would still be positioned absolutely against the slider wrap. But it would be absolutely positioned, it's still absolutely positioned against the slider. So it's still a sibling regardless. It's still a sibling no matter what, even whether it's slider wrap or the UL. So we just have to make sure that slider wrap is positioned relative. And I think this will be fine. Oh, position relative. And I'm also going to say z index 0. There. Oh. So hang on. Did this work? So here's our slider. Here's our slider wrap. And here's our controls. This totally worked. Thank God one thing worked today. Oh my God. Okay, so let's see what happens now on desktop. We're still good. Oh, thank you. That worked. One thing, you guys, one thing worked today. This makes me so happy. So, I think this is a great solution. Hang on here. I'll move this over. I think this is a good solution for a slider on mobile, especially when you have content that is not unique to the slide. And that was just a choice that I made. And our images aren't so bad. Our images look okay. They don't really work that well on desktop. Oh, maybe they're okay. But I think this is a good choice for mobile. I like this. And our navigation works. Ooh, okay, we just have to adjust our Z index here, no problem. Oh, easier said than done, right? Although this was not a scientific Z index. I did 3 just for the heck of it. But this still appears to be okay. It just has to sit on top of the content, but it needs to be below the menu and below the search. So we'll change this to 2. I know I defaulted to 3, so that is just fine. Okay, we have one thing left to do, and then we're going to push this, and we do need to check and see how things work on mobile. And really what I'm checking on mobile is just to make sure that I can go back and forth through the slider, and then we can open and close the search and open and close the mobile menu. And we also need to check other browsers. But the only other thing I want to do is just do a hover for these icons. So brand colors, I think it's just brandcolors.net. So GitHub, we'll grab this green. And we'll say GitHub. And then we want Instagram and Pinterest. And I'm going to grab this purple. And then we grab this red. Okay, and then we're just going to add a hover for our social icons. Okay, so we've got social. This is going to be very redundant, but this is vanilla CSS. So we've got focus. We also need to make sure that we have the right classes, actually. So we've got social item GitHub. We've got social item Instagram. And we've got social item Pinterest. So we'll do social item GitHub first. And then we've got focus. And this is hover and active. And the fill should be, where are you? GitHub, right here. And I think, oh, but this is, we're actually triggering the SVG, so we need to come down here. And social item SVG fill, we need to transition this. Ease in out, and then it's and then we need to trigger the SVG. There we go. Look at that. So we just need to repeat this now. So this would be Instagram. And this would be Pinterest. There we go. Nice. And this should work in our footer as well. Oh, we probably need to repeat these for the footer. There's no, I don't have any restrictions on the footer. Did I just not? Oh, we don't have our classes on the footer. So this is GitHub. This is Instagram. There we go. Wow, what a day. This one was stressful. This was very, I feel stressed out. This was a stressful one for me. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that I am very uncomfortable with my JavaScript skills in public. I'm not uncomfortable with my JavaScript skills to where I won't sit and do it. I'm just uncomfortable doing it in front of other people because clearly I'm not as confident and I still need a lot of help. So clean. I like it. Thank you. Thank you. We had a very quiet, chill chat today. Rahul and Go Elmo Go, thank you for being here. And everybody else, you don't need to chat. Honestly, when I watch a lot of live streams, and I rarely am in the chat. So definitely not criticizing anybody who isn't in the chat. Some days are just chattier than others. That's all. That's all. Okay, so let's get this pushed. While this is deploying, we're just going to quickly check Safari. Oh, and I forgot to check the iframe thing. That might just be an issue. I think I'm just going to make that an issue because it is only impacted on Safari desktop, nowhere else. That's the aspect ratio for the iframe. So I'm going to create an issue for that in GitHub. JavaScript for menu, search and sliders. Okay, let's let that deploy in just 1 second. Okay. I have allergies and a very runny nose right now. So, and Go Elmo Go says, yeah, I got a lot of work done. Honestly, 3 more weeks till I am done with my degree. That is so cool. Congratulations. Was a good, calm stream. Good for you. Congratulations. That is a milestone. That is a milestone. Very happy for you. Have you told me what your degree is? I feel like maybe you did tell me. If you don't mind sharing, I would love to know what it is again because it is escaping me. Or perhaps you didn't tell me. But if you want to share, I would like to know. All right. Computer science. Good for you. Good for you. Yeah, I mean, there's a lifestyle vlogger that I watch. Her name is Chelsea Callahan, and she decided to go back to school for computer science, and she got. I mean, I didn't personally see these comments, but she indicated that she got a lot of comments, people saying, "Why are you doing that with AI?" And I think people who say that don't really understand how AI works right now. And it's improving every day, but I think it's very clear, and I am a power user of ChatGPT. I think it's very clear that AI is not taking over any developer's job anytime soon. I just don't think it is. So I want to focus on front end. I am enjoying it a lot. I think front end is where all the action is at, but that's just what I think. So, okay. So our slider works on Firefox. Yeah, she got a lot of, I wouldn't say hate, and I looked in her comment section. I didn't personally see any comments in her comment section about going back to school for computer science, but she indicated that people had said something about that, and I just think that's wild. If she wants to do that, she should do that. So, okay, everything seems to be working as it should on Firefox. Good, good, good. Let's just tab through. And Firefox, the focus is a dotted line. Yep, everything works. The links are a blue outline, but the buttons are a dotted line, which is probably good then that we style additional styles for focus, so we don't change the outline. But you can see that the links, even if it's styled like a button, the links are clearly getting a blue outline. Oh, we're going to have to, okay, so we need to, since we took the padding off of we have to adjust the padding for the bottom of our tutorials. So let's do that now. Tutorials. Testimonials, excuse me. Testimonials. So this says that it should have, so we've got 0 on desktop. We should have 4.5 rems down here. We clearly don't. Let's see what's going on here. Oh, it's just it's so we still have the padding. We just don't have enough room for the content. We just don't have enough room for the content. How do you stack these things up if they're not position absolute? How do you stack them on top of each other as a slider if they're not position absolute? I'm sure it's going to come to me. My slides are in an unordered list, and my list items are position absolute to stack them and only show when they have an active class. But for my testimonials, I need containers that respond to the length of content. And of course, position absolute does not work that way. Is there another method? I can't think of one. Display grid. This is the cleanest and most modern approach for content-based sliders that need stacking. Each slide sits in the same grid cell, grid area 1 by 1, 1 to 1, 1/1. The container UL grows and shrinks based on the active item. No need for position absolute. Bonus, you can fade transitions with opacity. Option 2, position relative with opacity and pointer events. If you still want that slide on top behavior but need dynamic height, slider UL position relative, slider item position absolute, Oh, slider item active goes back to being position relative. Everything else is position absolute. The trick here is making the active item position relative so it contributes to the layout. The inactive one stays absolute and invisible. This lets you stack items but still have the container grow with the visible content. Oh, I'm totally doing the thing that is not going to be recommended. So slider section UL. So I think oh, stop. Just so it's the slider item specific to the testimonial slider, where I'm just going to change position to position relative. Okay, well, let's put some different lengths of text in here to see if this actually worked. Yep, I think this worked. No, did not work. Oh, I spelled relative wrong. That worked. And then I think the things that are, did it tell me to do that? So then I think for the things that are absolute, we would change the height. Yeah, we would change the height. And for the things that are position relative, we would just say height auto. Oh, I didn't specify active. That's why. There we go. Oh, still not working. Hang on. We're so close. We're so close. Position relative. I still think this should be height 0, and this should be height auto. There, that was it. We did it. We did it. Look at that. Okay. So we're going to do this twice. So this is going to be height 0, and then this is going to be height auto. And then I don't think we need to have padding 0 on this anymore. Look at that. I'm completely good with this. And then let's just adjust our buttons a little bit. Well, and let's make sure this works on desktop. So let's make one that's really, really long. Like, just... really long. Beautiful. Look at that. That was the perfect solution. That was the perfect solution. I love it. So now let's just make sure that our buttons are in a little different position. They're a little snug up to the side on mobile. I think that the slider controls just need a little padding on the left and right. That's it. Just like that. Well, actually, we just don't even need that value there. Yeah. Nice. Okay. Well, we went with position relative because it was so darn easy. Yeah. Perfect. And then we'll create an issue. Create issue for, what was I going to create an issue for? Or did I already solve my issue? What was the issue? I don't even remember. So I guess I'm not going to worry about it. If I think of it, I will create an issue. Need you are here navigation. That's done. We didn't have a big QA list for this. And at this point, moving forward, if I notice anything that I can't quickly fix, I'll set up an issue, but I would prefer to fix it myself. So let's get this deployed and then continue to check. Continue to check Firefox and Safari. Oh, the issue is going to be for create issue in GitHub for iframe aspect ratio for Safari desktop. That's what it was. Refining the testimonial slider styles. And let me make sure. Yes, so the list stacking is all fixed now. Absolutely. So that was such a good solution to just make the active slide position relative, because the stacking order is still obeyed as long as it's at least position relative. But position relative puts it back into the flow in the DOM, right? So let's see here. There we go. Okay. Get this pulled up. But first, that needs a second to deploy. So let's make sure that we're good on Firefox and Safari. So here's Firefox. And I'm really just going to check this slider. Beautiful. That is an excellent solution. I'm totally down with that. And honestly, that's the behavior that I'm used to. So this makes sense to me. I'm good with it. Boy, isn't it going to suck if it doesn't work on Safari? Yes, the answer is yes. Let's see. All right, so let's tab through. And so we open up search and the focus automatically goes to the close button. But if we go past, we can still escape to close it. And then it goes to the next logical place, which is the beginning of the social nav icons. And our arrow keys work, but also just hitting return on the correct buttons works. everything's getting focus that should get focus. Oops. Ooh. Safari, what are you doing to me? Safari is not obeying position relative on this slide. Probably because, we can just do away with this aspect ratio. We don't even need the aspect ratio if we're going to switch to position relative. So that is actually a good catch. Yeah, we don't even need this. Although now it's gigantic. Why does all of this have to be open? Can't we just close some of these? I just want the elements. Okay. Oh, we might still have an aspect ratio here to deal with. Okay, so we need to make sure that we're clearing our aspect ratio on everything related to the slider. So we took it out here, but we still have it on the main slider UL. So maybe what we need to just do is just say something like, is like 0 or none a value? Probably not. 0, 0, but does that like collapse it? Unset? Is that the better way to go? Yeah, I think unset. How widely supported is unset? Because I feel like unset didn't used to be that widely supported, but it's been a while. MDN CSS unset. Widely available. Okay. Unset did not used to be widely available, but I haven't checked in a long time. So as long as MDN says that it's baseline widely available, then we're just going to go with unset, and that will take care of that. So let's push that. Unset the aspect ratio for testimonial slider. Okay. And then let's just go back and double check Firefox while that is deploying. Different browsers, you got to check different browsers, different behavior. Yep, this is working. This is working great. Good. Okay, let's check and see how things look on mobile. So this is Chrome. All right. You can't see that background color on the streaming software, but you can see it on mobile. And of course, we don't click, we don't hit escape on mobile. We can only use the buttons. But everything is working. Everything is working. Let's check out our testimonials. I don't know if that's had time to deploy yet, so. Yeah, I don't think that's had time to deploy yet. Let's just close out Chrome and go check Safari. So our slider works. Our navigation works. Search works. And iOS is making that search button blue by default. And yeah, I'm fine. I mean, I'm fine with that. I'm not going to try to override that. That to me seems like an accessibility thing, and I'm just fine with it. And our slider, our testimonial slider, appears to be right as rain. Look at that. You obviously probably wouldn't have this much content in a testimonial slider, but I think the point here is to test that that container is flexible. Such a good solution. Such a good solution. Interesting that that aspect ratio works on Safari mobile, but not Safari desktop. So I think that's a great issue. I'll go ahead and put that in as an issue. I am just fine with that. Let's check Chrome again. But the caching on Chrome is very weird. So we may not see this updated. Literally until tomorrow. Maybe tonight. Oh, it's working. Good. Good, good, good. Makes me so happy that we found. I'm glad I asked. Such a simple solution. Such a good solution. And we have lazy loading on that iframe too, so it doesn't load till it comes into the window. Nice. Wow, today was a marathon. Oof. Today was a lot. We're done. We're done. This is it. I'm going to add that issue. I probably am not going to add that issue till tomorrow. So we are at 3.5 hours. So this is the last video for me to edit in this series. So right now, this is like 10 hours long, this project. So this is easily going to add another couple of hours, but that's good. That's the kind of content, that's the kind of library that I want to build for this channel. So thank you to everybody who joined the stream today, who hung out with me, who just had a nice chill day. If you haven't yet and you wouldn't mind hitting that like button and subscribing to the channel, I would love to have you. And I would love to be able to push out more of this type of content to other front-end developers who want to work on these types of projects. So I should have this project out Monday or Tuesday. I think it's going to be Tuesday. And really what I'm doing is I'm just going through and sort of lightly editing the stream. I'm taking out anything that isn't directly related to the build. So it's just a straight start to finish project build. Taking out almost all of the interactions with the chat unless it's something that is directly related to the build itself. So hopefully people find that type of content interesting. Next weekend, we're going to work on I think the project that I picked for next weekend, we can easily do in a weekend. It's just a one-page landing page, resume landing page, web page. Think we can do that easily in a weekend. And then I have another landing page that I think I've decided on, but I'm still kind of thinking about it for August that we'll go ahead and do. So I think that's it. Today was a marathon. It was a lot, 3.5 hours. So everybody, have a great rest of your day wherever you are. Very special thank you to Go Elmo Go for helping with moderation. Rahul, thank you for being here and asking thoughtful questions. I appreciate everybody. Have a great rest of your day and a great week wherever you are. And I will see you next weekend. Bye-bye.